tuck our thumbs into our fingers and allow our hands to rest on our thighs, or if you're standing, you can just have your thumbs tucked in your fingers and your arms can hang by your sides. Beginning as we always begin, and continue and end with the three treasures: the body, the breath, and the mind. The Jing, the Qi, and the Shen. The individual, the collective, and the shared experience. So taking these few moments to move through each of the three treasures, just taking them one at a time. And with this practice in this class, we usually begin with the body and the alignment of the body and the sensations, the physical, substantial sensations, the seat or the feet on the ground or on whatever we're sitting on, the alignment of our physical structure within gravity, the weight of our bones, the sensation of our clothes against our skin, the Jing, again in this context, translates as the body. It's also fair to translate it as the earth. So the body, the earth, helping us to ground these physical, substantial sensations, giving us something to anchor into. Rather than spinning along with whatever content is going on. Just letting the weight of the body helping us to settle. And as we settle into our bodies, it may naturally happen that the breath becomes more apparent. Similarly to how the movement of the clouds becomes more obvious when we become more still. So settling in the body, and we can notice the breath and the subtle movement of the breath. And taking the time to notice where the breath is moving in your body. It doesn't have to move in any particular area or in any particular way, but notice how it's moving, where it's moving. Perhaps by noticing how and where the breath moves, it may move differently. Maybe not, just noticing. And if you'd like, you can take a longer, slower, deeper breath, allowing the inhalation to bring more awareness into the condition of your alignment. Perhaps the deep breath helps to refine the alignment, creating a little more space more depth, more width, more length. Just seeing if you find any of that, you can maintain it as you exhale. And just allowing this movement of the breath and an awareness of the alignment of the body and how the breath helps us to become more aware of the alignment of our body, just allowing that to be the focus of our minds. And as you're ready, you can bring your hands together and we'll rub our hands together, generate a little bit of heat in our palms, noticing the sensation of the hands rubbing together, maintaining an awareness of your body and your alignment, breathing through the body, paying attention to your hands as they rub together, what it feels like. And then we can take a nice deep breath in together and exhale, shake it out. Rubbing the palms together again, and maybe as you're rubbing your hands together, you can massage one hand with the other, the pinky edge, the base of the thumb in between the fingers. Make sure both hands get some attention. And again, deep breath in. Shake it out. And then recharge, refresh. And let's take our hands to our faces, and we can massage our face up and out, or up and down, or out and in. Feel free to try different things. Find what feels good. And then from here, you can just bring your fingers over your scalp, and you can go front to back or back and forth, or spend extra time in any particular place that feels like it would like it, or that it is enjoying some stimulation. Whenever you're ready, you can wind it down, and your hands can slide down the back of your neck and around your neck, and then take a nice deep breath in and shake it out. Rub the palms together and breathe. So jumping ahead today, we'll go right to the self-shoulder massage, beginning with our left arm to our right shoulder. We can just swing it up, and it can land and fall away, and the other side. Just taking your time, Let gravity do most of the work. Just feeling where your hand is landing on your shoulder, feeling what that feels like. Find a way of doing this that feels good. If it doesn't feel good, feel free to adjust, to modify. Maybe how hard or soft your hand is landing. Maybe if it's just adjusting like where the hand is landing. Even if it's just a millimeter to one side or the other. Maybe if it's just the intention that you have while doing this. Let's do one more on each side. And then a deep breath in. Shake it out. Rubbing the palms together. I've been doing these exercises and my neck and shoulders are really sore, and it just felt really good to scrub my head and just do that shoulder massage for a long time. So that's why we did that for a while. It was nice. So let's open up our chests. So we'll bring our right fingertips into a little beak and find the bottom of your left collarbone and then slide out into the hollow space, and left fingertips into a beak, find the bottom of your right rib cage and just follow it down, and there's another little notch you tend to drop into, and then you can gently tap these two areas, and feel free to make small circles as you're tapping in these areas, just to feel what it feels like, and maybe adjusting how light or how hard you're tapping. And it may happen in one or both of these places. You might find a spot that feels a little distinct from the rest of the area. It kind of stands out. If you do, just home in on that spot. Or those spots. Feel them. And then as you breathe, see if you can fill the space between these two spots, from the base of the rib cage up to just beneath the collarbone, filling the whole rib cage, the whole breath field. And not only in the front of the rib cage, but in the back of the rib cage. And as you breathe, see if you can bridge the gap between these 2 points with your breath. Notice what's there in your solar plexus area, the area of your diaphragm muscle, the area of your heart center and your heart organ and your lungs, your chest, the backside of your lungs in between your shoulder blades. Breathe and feel. Things tend to get congested in our chests, physically, emotionally, energetically, for reasons that we understand and for reasons that we don't understand. So just feel what's there and breathe. See if you can feel the movement of your breath. And if that movement expands beyond these areas where we're stimulating, maybe through the arms, the legs, out the top of the head, the base of the spine, maybe, maybe not. Whenever you're ready, you can transition to just gently massaging these areas, continuing to breathe and to feel. And a deep breath in, shaking it out, rubbing the palms together, breathing. And we'll do the other side. So left fingertips into a beak underneath the right collarbone, slide out into the hollow space near the shoulder. Right fingertips to the bottom of the left rib cage, follow it down until find a little notch, and then tap. And look around, small circles, being curious. Who knows what we'll find? We don't know. We may have found something on the other side. This is a different side, different experience, different moment. What do you feel? You breathe into sensation. Can you allow what is there to just be felt without needing to know why or how, what? Lower point at the base of the rib cage near the diaphragm. It's the last point on the liver meridian. One of the names is the gate of hope. Another name is the gate of time, because hope is a function of time. Breathing, exhaling, hoping that there will be another inhale. The upper point. The second point on the lung meridian. The name is the cloud gate. Like being on a mountaintop. Lungs are often represented as mountains. So the cloud gate, maybe opening the cloud gate. Clouds part, a boundless expanse, timeless, boundless. Breathing into this eternal present. As you're ready, you can massage these two areas and breathe. And then a deep breath in. Shake it out. Rubbing the palms together. And then let's start on either side of our sternum under our collarbones, just lightly patting along the edge of the collarbone. And you can do light fists, or you can use your beak fingers, working in between the rib spaces where the ribs and the sternums come together. The sternum comes together. Yeah, make some sounds, do a Tarzan yell if you need to. You can go hard, you can go soft. Feel what's there. A lot of times you can find very tender spots. Lots of tension can be held in this area. Lots of bracing and guarding. Almost like we're withdrawing our hearts away from what is happening because it might be too intense. So let that be felt. Maybe amplify the intensity. Breathe. Allow it to move. And then working your way down to the lower ribs. And maybe patting the lower ribs if a soft fist doesn't feel good. Maybe transitioning to massaging the lower ribs and the areas of the spleen and the stomach and the pancreas and the liver and the gallbladder. One hand can come over the chest and another can be over the belly, and after a while, whichever hand is on top can switch. And then both hands can work their way down over the belly, the abdomen. Each hand can do its own thing, or the hands can work together to massage the organs in the abdomen. Maybe take some time to rub and press, and what does it feel like? Are there any tender areas? Are there areas that feel firm? Areas that feel soft? Areas that feel too full or too hollow? Take some time to tune in to what is going on. What's going on inside of you? I feel like we're all very oriented, or at least concerned about what's going on outside of us. What's going on inside of us? Maybe start there. Maybe just stay there. And as you're ready, the hands can move around the waist to the lower back, the lower ribs, the SI joint, the area of the kidneys, the adrenal glands. And then drawing the hands out, shake them out. Rubbing the palms together. Big, deep breath in. Audible exhale. Sigh of relief. Another rub. And then briefly, doing the arms, we'll tap our fingertips, run up the outside and down the inside. Going with the flow of the meridians. Yang meridians. Start on the fingertips and run up the outside of the arms to our heads. Bringing the outside in to our eyes, our ears, our nose, our mouth. The yin meridians come from the abdomen and the chest, down the inside of the arm, bringing the inside out. There is an exchange, movement, flow, chi. Let's come up one more time and then down. Changing sides, fingertips up the outside and down the inside. Remember to breathe and feel. And find a way of doing it that feels good. If you want to go fast or slow, hard or soft, all of that is allowed. Explore, find out what you like. Cultivate your ability to discern what works for you, what feels right for you in this moment, which may change, and that is fine. But you learning more about yourself contributes to the overall wisdom and awareness of the collective consciousness. So, that's your responsibility, our job, our mandate. And then up one more time and down. Big breath in and out. Rubbing the palms together, breathing with the whole body. Exhaling through the whole body. We're almost there. So if you'd like, if you're seated, you could bring your feet out in front of you. If you're standing, you can move to a seat, or you can bend over and massage your feet. If you're in a chair, you can massage your feet or your knees, whatever you can get to. Massaging the bottom of the feet with the thumbs, working along the top of the foot with the fingers, maybe milking your toes, maybe pinching and massaging the edge of your foot that's facing up towards you. Feel what it feels like. Find some areas that maybe are saying like, thank you for paying some attention to me, finally. I'm down here all day supporting you. And as you're ready in your own way, you can follow the funnel on the bottom of your foot down to the deepest hollow. If you're massaging your knees, you can maybe find the deepest hollow on the back side of the knee and just apply some gentle pressure there. Allow the focus of your mind to move to that area where you're applying pressure. And as you're ready, your hands can move up the inside of the legs and around the hips and down the outside. Again, going with the flow of the meridians. Yin rising up from the earth into our bodies. Yang traveling down from above into the earth. Yin becoming yang, yang becoming yin. Transformation, exchange, Tai Chi. And we can come up one more time and around and down and out. Big breath in. Shake it out. Rubbing the palms together one more time for now. Tucking our thumbs into our fingers, letting our hands rest on our thighs. Gather your attention. And recall your intention for practice. Attune to your body and your breath and the focus of your mind. And whenever you're ready, you can relax. You can open your eyes if they're closed. All right. Thanks for being here. Any questions about anything? All right. Sorry?
The rain.
Questions about the rain?
What does that do for all the water, the force of nature?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because actually just yesterday somebody, mentioned to me, because last week we were talking about, cold dew the seasonal node that we're in currently, and how in autumn, as the temperature gets colder, it consolidates the moisture out of the air and pushes it towards the ground. And so there's this in and downward movement that typically happens, and the air gets cooler and gets drier. But where we are here in Durango is it's warm and wet in the air because there's a tropical storm in the desert/alpine mountains of southwest Colorado. So, they're like, so that doesn't line up with the seasonal node. And that's true because there is an imbalance that is existing in the natural environment, which we are a part of. And so I think just like, as we all know, the planet is a living organism. And so if we had too much heat in our lungs, for instance, our body would respond by sending excess fluids and moisture to our lungs to try to calm it down. And often what happens is that heat and that moisture kind of gets entangled and it becomes a thicker kind of phlegm. And when it's really hot and it gets really entangled, it can become yellow and green or brown, maybe to the point where it's even bloody, And so we'd say, I'm sick, I don't feel well. True, but that is a response of the body trying to restore balance to something that is imbalanced. And so I think that's part of what's going on, is that there is an imbalance, and the planet is trying to rectify an imbalance. But it's dealing with this, what seems to be like some kind of viral infection, us, and we're not going away. And so it's having to keep on doing something about it. And so yeah, it's like things aren't typically how they're supposed to be because there is an imbalance. And so what do we do? Do we freak out? Do we do what? Do we become an antiviral and try to just eradicate humanity? I don't think that's the best option because typically that just pushes things into dormancy and then those viruses reemerge without having learned anything. There's been no integration or harmonization. And so what do? I guess for me, my own thinking of it is then what can I do to try to bring more balance and harmony to myself, within myself, and just be that. And so that as I'm then in relationship with the things around me, can I be balanced and harmonious with those things? And maybe that might help something, It's like Thich Nhat Hanh always likes to say that, you can't be a peace activist when you're angry because you're not peaceful. And so how are you going to bring about peace when you're mad and you're yelling and screaming? You have to be peaceful in yourself first. Like he has this great quote where he says, you shouldn't call your senator or your representative or your politician or write them a letter unless you can write them a love letter, unless you can speak in a way that's kind and gentle. Because what else then do? You're just contributing to more of the problem. And so again, yeah, there's imbalance, there's floods. People are losing their houses. That's not ideal. But at the same time, is it what should not be happening? I don't know, because again, the earth is trying to reclaim some balance for itself. Like I have a friend who, is from California, and he talks about the mudslides that happen there so often. And he's like, but they carved away the mountain to build houses. And then there's mudslides, and it's like the planet is trying to fill back in what was carved away. It's trying to heal a wound. And so, yeah, it's too bad that people lose their houses and, people die. That's terrible. Not what anybody wants. But again, to say that I don't know, is it wrong? Is it right? I don't know, but it's like there's another teacher who says, it's not that things are right or wrong, it's that something might be in the wrong place. But if you take it out of that place and put it in a different place, suddenly it's fine. So again, that's where I think, there might be a lot of things out here that are not in the right place. And so what do we do about that? I feel like for me and with these practices, how can I utilize them to just work on what's in here? And to let me take stock of what is in the right place and what's in the wrong place in here first. Because the macrocosm and the microcosm are interdependent reflections of each other. Maybe if more of us were finding more balance and harmony within ourselves, we wouldn't even have to do anything. Things would just start to find balance and harmony because that's how we are ourselves. Maybe then we wouldn't be a virus. We'd be a beneficial microbe that's helping with the planet just going about its own life cycle and metabolisms. That was a little bit of a rant. Yeah. But again, that's like bringing it back to that's what these practices are, right? Like when we're doing this Taiqigong practice, it's like feeling the weight shift. How much of my weight is in one leg versus the other? If I'm moving, how far am I moving? Am I moving out of balance to where I'm in this precarious situation where I might fall? Can I come back and still maintain my expansion, my extension, while being rooted and grounded? It's like we're learning how to do this so that then we can do it with everything, not just our Tai Chi and Qigong practice, but with life. Again, that's what we talk about. That's where we're practicing these forms so that we can find the form in everything, so then the form is formless. It's boundless. We don't have to say, I need to remove myself from this situation so I can go sit silently in a closet in the dark and be okay. It's like, how can you be in the flood and be okay? I don't know. It's not easy, but there are these methods of cultivating okayness that if we do them regularly, I think we might kind of develop a little bit of a knack, or we might get into the habit of coming back to the three treasures, body, breath, and mind, constantly. And it's like, whoa, I'm dealing with somebody who's really freaking me out. Where's my body and my breath and the focus of my mind? That just happens automatically. That may shift the whole dynamic of the interaction because it's an interaction. It's not just them being difficult, it's also you being in their presence. And if you're grounded and calm, we know this from the Heart Math Institute, when you're in coherence, it causes people around you to come into coherence. When you're being peace and you're interacting with somebody who's angry, it's possible that you might be able to entrain them to your vibration. Because what we know about energy is that clearer, stronger, more organized fields override weaker, less organized fields. And sometimes some person's anger might be a very strong, organized field, and your peace might be a very weak, disorganized field. And so you get pulled off of center. And so how can we cultivate that capacity to be grounded and stable and calm and have that be a very strong, organized field that isn't knocked off balance by something that, maybe isn't as strong or organized? So that's what we're doing in these classes. World peace begins with inner peace, very common sayings. Yeah. Okay, too much talking. Let's do the practice. Let's be balanced and harmonious instead of talking about it. All right. Okay, good. Yeah, sorry, I just kind of went off on that. All right, so let's do a little amplification and discharge just to get started. So let's take a nice deep breath in, and as you breathe in, maybe bring the shoulders up, maybe make fists with your hands and feet and squeeze, and then exhale, let it go. Let's do that a couple times. We'll get it pumping. So in, amplify, charge, hold it, release it. 3 more. Hold, then go. Let it charge. 2 more. Last one. And let it out and let's shake. Just bounce up and down. You can bend your knees up and down. You can lift your elbows up and down. Raise your shoulders. You can make a big movement or a small movement. You can turn side to side. There aren't rules to this. It's just spontaneous, free movement and shaking, wiggling, breathing deeply. I encourage you to add in some blithers or some sighs of relief and just get it moving. And whenever you're ready, just start to wind down, to come into standing. And before we move into the review of our Taiqigong, let's just do some Qigong. The super simple, silly little Qigong form. Let's bring our hands back to back and inhale up. And then exhale out and around. The knees can bend a little bit. 2 more. One more time. So beginning, inhale, arms out and up. Exhaling, the hands can float down to about chest level. It's like your hands are resting on a big beach ball and you're standing in waist-deep water. As you inhale, press the ball down into the water. So there's going to be a little resistance from the water pushing back against the ball. And then as you exhale, just let the water push the ball back up. And we'll move like this. So inhale, pressing down through the heels of the feet, the heels of the hand, reaching up through the back top of the head, and then exhale, knees bend, relax. The ball floats back up. In, out. 2 more. Hold at the top of the inhale, feel the strong stretch before you then release. 1 more time, we'll inhale. And then as you exhale, you realize you've been dreaming. So we'll wake up. Inhale and exhale. So the movement we started with, hands back to back, inhaling, reaching up, stretching like you're waking up, exhaling. And just moving like this, moving at your own pace with your breath. Maybe a gentle arch to the back as you look up, opening the arms out, down to the sides. There's a fun word for the stretching that happens when you wake up, or like when you see a cat or a dog wake up from a nap and they stretch. It's called pandiculation, which is fun to say. It's also fun to do. Waking up from a dream. So now that we're awake, let's take a shower. So inhale the arms out and up. And then exhaling down and through, like water washing over the body, through the body. Inhaling and exhaling. Water is restorative. It renews and refreshes, washes things away. Sometimes it washes away things that we'd like to hold on to. But that's the nature of water. It always wins. The ocean is the ultimate solution, as Frank Zappa likes to say. One more time, inhaling out and up, and exhaling, showering, refreshing, renewing. So now we showered off, we go back into our bedroom where we woke up from our dream, and we can inhale the hands up and keep inhaling as you open your curtains, and then exhale. Inhaling up to the chest. Keep inhaling. Stretch your inhale. And out. Inhaling, parting the curtains, opening to a new day, new moment. 2 more. Last one. We'll inhale, open the curtains, and then we look outside and we see, oh, my neighbor, their car is stuck in the mud. They need a push. So we'll bring the hands up and inhale, and then exhale here. As we inhale, send your hips back and press forward with your hands. The hips are moving back behind the legs, and then we can inhale up, or no, exhale up. I don't know what we're doing. And breathe. Exhaling as we stand up. That's how it is. So as you inhale, hips back behind the feet, reaching back away from the heels of the hands as you inhale, and then exhale yourself up, pushing your neighbor's car out of the mud. The weight is in the heels of your feet. If you're pushing forward into the balls of your feet, don't do that. Let the knees bend, let the hips reach back, lift your toes, press to the heels of your hands and your feet, and then exhale. 2 more. In. Stretch. Out. Last one. And out. So now we've got our neighbor out of the mud, so we can wave by. So let the window hand come up and across. And then the other hand is going to float up as that hand comes down, and we wave, palm facing out. And take your time, adjust your stance. Your feet can turn out wider if they need to. Your knees can bend. And just, take some time to practice what we've been doing these past couple of weeks with our Taiqigong practice, weight shifting, turning from the center. So the arm isn't really moving other than up and down, and then the body brings it across. Waving to our neighbor, saying goodbye. First thing in the morning, we just woke up. We showered, we opened the curtains, and then we've done a good deed for someone else already. But then we remember, we ran outside in our enthusiasm to help. We never got dressed. We're standing outside without any clothes on. So, let's gather ourselves back up and go inside. Get dressed. Standing in Diamond Mudra. Taking a moment to feel your feet on the ground, maybe lifting your toes up so you can find the 3 points of contact on your feet. Your heel, the outside edge of your foot, and your big toe mount. Let your knees be soft, and just notice, where is the weight? Is it in one foot more than the other? Is it on the outside or the inside? And because of life, habituations of form, injuries, it can feel quite different on the bottom of one foot to the other, and that's fine. It's not about having it be a certain kind of way. We just want to take the time to tune in. How is it? And sometimes taking the time to notice how it is changes. As the quantum mechanics have told us, light behaves differently when you look at it. We are water-soluble light particles. So when you look at yourself, into yourself, things change. Let's take a nice deep breath in together. As you exhale, you can sink your knees, let your hands move apart, and then we'll open towards the windows. So step out towards the windows, and then let the hands float down. And we're going to close towards the windows. So gather the hands up, step in and down. Sink. Inhale, open towards the mirror. And relax. Closing towards the mirrors. Adjust as needed. You can take a narrower step out, you can take a wider step out, and take your time. Find your center and settle into that center. And then shift the weight gently towards the mirrors as you gather everything up. Feet and hands harmonized with awareness and breath. Opening right back out. And from here, let's just inhale the hands up. Just about shoulder level or just above shoulder level and down. On screen, it looks like my hands are going above my head, but I think they're more like face level, just the angle of the computer. And again, inhale up. Exhale down. This time, we'll inhale up, and then window hand comes underneath, weight shifts towards the mirrors, and we're holding a ball. So our weight is shifted. Because of that, our window foot is free to lift and to pivot about 45 degrees. And then we're going to shift our weight, and as we do, the bottom hand is going to flow up as the upper hand flows down, and then pause. Let's hang out here and take a moment, check in, like, how are you? If your knee is way over your toes, I would invite you to bring it back. A nice rule of thumb is to think about the knee in line with about the tip of the toe, not much further than that. Is your hand up to the point where it feels awkward for your shoulder? You can turn it. You can have it at a 45-degree angle. You can have it straight up and down, perpendicular to the ground, facing your face. Find what works for you. Be rounded through this arm that's up. Be rounded through this arm that's down. Grounded through the legs. We have a little bit of a lean forward, but we're also rooted through that back foot. And then we can shift the weight back so that this window foot can pivot. And now we have our mirror hand is going to pick up the ball. And now we're on the other side. So the mirror foot can pivot, and we can weight shift. And as we do, that lower hand rises. And again, take a moment, just check in here. Are you too far forward? Are you too far back? Find what feels good. Find what feels full, but grounded. And then rock back. The window hand has the momentum, so it's going to pick up the ball. We can pivot the window foot. And we can call this, it's like tossing the frisbee. It's parting the horse's mane. It's harmonizing heaven and earth. So a gentle weight shift and rotation. Rocking back. Pick up the ball. This is just review for some of us. Rocking back. Pick up the ball. Weight shift. Pivot. Harmonize. Rock back. Pick up the ball. So the lower hand, I like to think of the lower hand as the one that's usually driving the action. So this lower hand sweeps and picks up the ball. And then this lower hand rises and brings me across. Now I have a new lower hand, which sweeps and picks up the ball. And the lower hand Rock back, new lower hand. Taking our time, feeling movement. Tossing, rock back. Lower hand picks up the ball. Transition. So we're on the window side. And we're going to turn our ball over. So flip the ball. Turn it back the other way just because, again, this is fun. Turn the ball so that the window hand is underneath. We're going to go very slow with this, and then we'll find our flow. So the bottom hand leads the movement. So we drop the ball. That upper hand comes to about the level of the waist. Window hand is palm down, out at shoulder level. Bend at the elbow. So the thumb comes towards your shoulder, and then just rotate. We have our pivot with our foot. So rotate with the body, and then weight shift. And that back foot may come in a little bit as you weight shift. Rock back. The lower hand picks up the ball, it brings us to center, and then settle on the mirror side. Drop the ball. Upper hand comes to the level of the waist. Mirror hand, shoulder level, palm down, bending at the elbow, and then we can pivot with our window foot, turn, and push. Rock back, lower hand picks up the ball, brings us to center, and then we settle our weight. That weight shift gives us momentum for the bottom hand to swing out. And then as the elbow bends, turn your body now. So making it a little more flow. So the elbow bends as we turn and weight shift. Rock back, pick up the ball. Settle your weight towards the mirrors. That weight shift gives the lower hand the momentum to swing out. As you bend your elbow, rotate your body. As the hand comes towards the shoulder, weight shift and press. Rock back, the lower hand picks up the ball. Weight shift, drop the ball. Bend at the elbow and turn and push. That back foot can come in if it needs to. Weight shift, picking up the ball. Weight shift, drop the ball. And then turn and push. Rock back, picking up the ball. Weight settles towards the windows, just following the momentum of the movement. Letting the momentum of the movement inform how to move. This lower hand is swinging out, so we're going that way, but we can't go any further, so it starts to come back the other way. And we can't go any further here. So we come back the other way and just swaying, rocking gently side to side, not too far in any direction, but exploring full range of motion. One more time, we'll pick up the ball, drop the ball, arm swings out, elbows bend as the body rotates, and then push. Lower hand now is going to sweep up and cross. So the window hand is the closest to us, so it's going to begin the movement. So the window hand comes down, and we'll send it out to the side, and then like a karate chop forward. And then the mirror hand swings out, karate chop. Just following the momentum. Let the weight of the arm shift your weight and then send it forward. And that forward movement of one arm causes the other arm to swing back. And you have a weight shift. So maybe as you swing the arm out, the opposite foot lifts. Maybe it's just the heel coming off the ground. Maybe it's the whole foot coming off the ground. But feel the momentum of the movement. Cutting a path to clarity. This time, window hand is going to sweep around, and we're back to crossed arms. So this is the big movement we learned last week. We'll take our time. So the outer hand now is going to initiate the movement. So it's going to open. The outer hand is opening, and it has the momentum. It brings us towards the windows. And then we'll bring this window hand around on top, and we've got our trusty ball. And now the lower hand is going to initiate the movement. So it's going to trace the bottom of the upper hand across and up. Like we're taking hold of something, we're going to pull that down and across. And then out to shoulder level. Take the back hand to the inside of the front wrist. Take your front elbow and let that turn you all the way towards the mirrors, and then push towards the mirrors. Let that go. Rock back. The hands can come down to about chest or solar plexus level, and then push. And then turn towards the front. Now the mirror hand just automatically is out front. So we're going to open with that hand, and it's going to bring us towards the mirrors. And we'll just let it whip around to become the top of the ball. Now the bottom hand leads the movement. It traces the bottom of that upper arm up and across. Like we're grabbing a hold of something to pull it down across our bodies. Out to the sides. Back hand to the inside of the front wrist. Front elbow turns all the way towards the windows, and then push. Let it go. Rock back. The hands flow down to solar plexus level, and then push away. And then come back to face front. The hands cross. Again, open towards the windows. That window hand comes around on top. The lower hand traces the bottom of the arm up and across, and we pull down. Hands come out. Back hand, front wrist, front elbow turns. The feet can move as they need. Push, rock back, and push. Again, back to the front. Mirror hand in front, open towards the mirrors. That mirror hand whips around. It's the top of the ball. Bottom hand comes across and up, and then trace down. Hands come out. Back hand to the inside of the front wrist. Front elbow turns. Push. Rock back. And push. Transition on to the next movement. Big circle. All the way overhead and around. And the hands come up. So the window hand is a bird. The lower hand is feeding the bird. And again, take a moment, like, what's going on with your feet? What's going on with your balance? Can you, like, be settled? If we had to just stand here for, like, another 10 minutes, would you be comfortable? If not, adjust. Find a way that's comfortable. And so now our weight can start to shift more into the window leg, which allows the mirror foot to be weightless so we can pivot as needed. And we're going to open with the lower hand, just open across. And then the foot is up, we're pivoting, palm faces away, and we can press through that palm. Rock back to center. The lower hand comes across, and now the mirror hand is the bird, feeding the bird. Open, weight shift. Rock back to center. Lower hand sweeps across, feeding the bird. Open. First we open, then we weight shift. Rock back. Lower hand comes across to feed the bird. And again, you can play with this. If your hand is up way high, like bring it lower. It's about shoulder level. Elbow is bent. We can be relaxed as needed. So opening the gate first, then walk through the gate. Rock back. Make a new bird. Bring some food over to feed that bird. Open the gate and walk through. Rock back to center. Feed the bird. Open the gate and walk through. Rock back. Feed the bird. Open the gate. Rock through. Back to center. This time the lower hand is going to come across as it's been doing, but as it comes up, the upper hand comes down. And then both hands come across. And then switch. So let's do this super robotic, and then we'll soften it up. So turning. So lower hand comes up, upper hand comes down. Arms are no longer going to move. We're just going to turn the trunk of the body. And then cross. And then robotic. Drawing a square. Very static, but very clearly moving from our center. So now let's bring some humanity into this movement. So now the edges might be a little bit softer. The square might become a little bit more round. Where one part of the movement ends and the next begins might start to blend into each other just a little bit. But we're still rotating from the center. And as we come to one side, shift the weight a little towards that side, and then lift up to center and come across the other direction, so that you can feel some buoyancy in your movement, some roundness, some lightness, some softness. Watching clouds pass. And then the next time that the lower hand comes up, we'll come to the center. The lower hand can cross. And let's open. And then send the hips back, gather from the earth. Press through your heels, coming up to the heart, and then open. Inhale, gather. Exhale, down. So this is not a forward fold as we inhale out. Hips go back. Spine stays tall, knees bend, back of the head lifting up, and then press through your heels, come up, and then relax, gather from the sky, exhaling down, inhale wide, exhale hips back, spine tall, it's a squat, not a fold, pressing up, and relax. One more time, in and out, in and out, in, out, gathering up. And then exhale, just letting the hands float down to maybe about heart level. Lift your toes. See if you can find the outer edges of your feet so the knees are moving away from each other. It's like you're sitting in to the outer edges of your feet. Your elbows are not just hanging. It's like we're spreading wide, like we're holding elevator doors open. Reach up and back through the back of your head so your chin slightly tucks, the back of your neck gets long. Take a big breath in between your shoulder blades behind your heart and feel that create a nice 360-degree ring around your arms, around your rib cage. Spread the floor in between your feet. And as much as you can, relax. Take another nice deep breath in here. Exhale, the hands can drop. And we'll close towards the windows. Inhaling. Exhaling. Take a moment to stand and to breathe, to just let things settle. Feel the beating of your heart, the pumping of your blood. Feel the areas of your body that have just been worked. We mentioned last week, they've researched this. Harvard researched this. 20 minutes of practicing Tai Chi as we've just done is equivalent to 20 minutes of jogging. Same cardiopulmonary physiological effects. Except we might feel less tired than we would after 20 minutes of jogging. So, as you're ready, you can just relax your stance. So that was a review of what we've done so far, and we added on, I guess, 2 movements. Or maybe 3, but out of order a little bit. Questions about any of that we've done so far? The Zoomers? Okay, good. So, we talked about this a little bit last week. It bears repeating. You know, the whole idea of we have this weight shift and pivoting that's happening with the feet, but it is okay to cheat the feet, especially when we're doing this movement where we're coming across. Because, you know, this foot turns out as it does with the first movement, but then as we come across, this back foot may want to come in a little bit. Like those toes may want to shift. You can let them do that. That's okay. So allow your feet to be grounded and mobile. And again, you know, just for a nice review, because this is a nice exercise in and of itself, let's do just the feet. So we can put our hands on our lower dantian. The feet are facing mostly forward, not so rigidly forward. They might angle out a little bit, but it's just an easy, comfortable stance. And we're going to shift our weight towards the mirrors. So the window toes come up, we pivot, and then rock following the angle of that foot. Come back to center, turn to face forward, weight shift. Now the mirror toes come up and we pivot, follow the angle of that foot, rock back, turn to face forward. So this is just a very nice and easy balance exercise. It also is a nice exercise for coordination. Rocking back, shift to center. If you want to, pick your foot up and then turn it out, place it down and rock. As you rock back, pick it back up. Turn it to face forward and then weight shift. Turn and lift. Following the angle of the foot, lift it, come back to center. So this exercise, just this, is amazingly beneficial. And like for some of us, it might be like, well, what's this? This is no big deal. For some people, this is a very big deal. So if it is easy, like, be grateful for that. And, you know, also know that there may be times when it might not be so easy. And so taking your time to learn this and to practice it in different ways gives you a wonderful tool to keep with you for the rest of your life. And so, you know, we can lift the foot, rock forward, rock back to center, and then again, just keep the heel on the ground. Just rotate out, weight shift. Rock back to center, weight shift. Rocking forward, back to center, weight shift. And let's come back to center. And let's close towards the mirrors. Take a breath. Exhale and sink. Inhale, open towards the windows. Relax. Inhale your hands up about shoulder, face level, and then the mirror hand will come underneath and form the ball. We've just been doing the feet, so we know how to do that. So now toss your frisbee, part the horse's mane, rock back to center. Bottom hand has the momentum. It picks up the ball, and then it throws the frisbee. Rock back, picking up the ball one more time towards the mirrors. Rock back, pick up the ball. Transition, turn the ball over. Create your interdimensional space portal. Back the other way. Just like, every time I do this, I just imagine like I'm on some mountain in China, wearing some kung fu suit. And I'm like, wow. So have fun with that. But end up with the mirror hand underneath. You've got your ball. Drop your ball. Bottom hand drops to the waist. Mirror hand bends at the elbow, and we turn and weight shift. Rock back. The bottom hand picks up the ball. As we weight shift towards the windows, that gives us the momentum to then turn and weight shift. Rock back, pick up the ball. Weight shift towards the mirrors. Follow the momentum. Turn and press. Bottom hand sweeps up to cross. The mirror hand is closest to us, so it comes down. We send it out to the side, and then cut a path to clarity, following the momentum. Weight shift, forward. Weight shift, forward. Weight shift, forward. One more time. This time the mirror hand sweeps all the way around. It's on the outside, so the mirror hand has the momentum. It becomes the top of the ball, and the bottom hand drives the movement, tracing the bottom of that upper arm, and then down and across like we're stroking the tail of a giant phoenix. Back hand to the inside of the front wrist, the front elbow turns, we push, rock back, and then press. Turn to face forward. The window hand is out in front. We've got momentum to open towards the windows. The window hand becomes the top of the ball. The bottom hand traces underneath that upper arm, and then we pull down and across, all the way out. Backhand to the inside of the front wrist. Turn. Press. Rock back. And push. Transition. Big circle. Overhead. All the way around. The mirror hand is a bird. And we're feeding our bird. The weight is in the mirror leg. And we can open the gate. And then walk through the gate. Rock back to center. Mirror hand comes across to feed the bird. Open the gate. Walk through the gate. Rock back. Mirror hand is the bird. Window hand feeds the bird. Open the gate. Walk through the gate. Rock back. This time, mirror hand comes across, and as it comes up, the window hand comes down. And the body brings the arms across. And we switch. And weight shift. And lift. And weight shift. Like we're drawing a circle or drawing a square or an oval. The arms are just moving up and down. And the body brings them across as we rotate and weight shift. One more time across. And then when the lower hand comes up and comes bringing us to center, the lower hand sweeps up. And let's open. Hips back, spine tall, squat, gather from the earth, pull it up into yourself. And then let it go. And then reach up into the sky. Inhale. Exhale down into the body. Inhale, open. Hips back, gather earth. Inhale up. Exhale, relax. One more time, gathering from the sky. And as we exhale, just let the hands float down. And your hands can hang out, face level, throat level, chest level, belly level, wherever works. And if you need to, like lift your shoulders up and then let them drop. So our neck and our shoulders are not so involved in this movement. So again, lift your toes, 3 points of contact. Spread the floor apart. Find the outer edges of your feet. If you need to even roll out onto the outer edges, just to really feel it. And then bring your big toe mound back to the ground. Knees moving apart. Elbows holding elevator doors open. It doesn't take a lot to keep elevator doors open, but it takes something. Lifting through the back of the skull up and back so the chin slightly tucks. The neck is long, which allows you to breathe in between the shoulder blades behind the heart. Take a big breath. 360 degrees, the whole rib cage, front, side, back, out the outside of the arms. And the hands, they're not too far in front, they're not too close. Finding like a nice rounded way of being. Sometimes if it feels hard, deeper is actually easier. But you can play with that. Yeah. Take breaks as you need. But we're just going to go for one more big deep breath together. Exhale. And we'll close towards the windows. Inhale. Exhale. And let your hands rest by your sides. And as we're standing here, again, we're still practicing. We're not done. So lift your toes. Find the 3 points of contact. Feel the weight between one foot and the other. Let the knees be unlocked, but the legs are strong. The pelvis is free. It's not tucked one way or the other. Breathing up from the pelvis into the rib cage. Breathe all the way around, especially into the back lower rib cage. See if you can find that space with your breath. Like reach back behind you with your inhale through the back of the ribs. Lift through this notch on the back of your skull, up and back, to get longer and taller so that your weight can drop down through your heels. Think about your collarbones lifting and spreading wide so we're not rounded. If it helps, you can turn your palms forward, which helps to externally rotate the shoulders, lift the collarbones slightly and get some spread. So feel that. Maintain that as you let your palms come back to your sides and your arms just relax. If it feels a little compressed, lift through the back of your head, up and back. Create more length in the neck, which allows the shoulders more room to spread and then drop. And breathe in between the shoulder blades, behind the heart, into the back side of the rib cage. And with another inhalation, we can exhale and then just let it go. Shake it out. Release your stance. And let's gently rub our palms together. And we can gently massage our faces up and down. And then back and forth over the scalp a couple times. Down the back of the neck and around. Palms together, thumbs pressing against the sternum as the hands move down over the chest. And then hands over the lower ribs, onto the belly, around the waist to the lower back. Draw the hands out. Shake them out. Let's pat up one arm. And then down. Up the other arm. And down. And then around and down the back of the legs. Up the front. One more time, around and down. Up the front. Good. And so again, just a moment here to just drift. We're not holding a particular posture. Just drift. Feel. Breathe. I think I mentioned last week also, Harvard, they call Tai Chi and Qigong not only meditation in motion, but medication in motion, because this is medicine. We are not only working with balance and helping to strengthen and tone our physical bodies and our cardiovascular pulmonary systems, but we're also initiating the relaxation response, down-regulating the parasympathetic nervous system, down-regulating the sympathetic nervous system, producing choline-based neurotransmitters, which help to alleviate pain, to calm the mind, to ease stress and tension and anxiety. We're breathing deeply and getting that oxygenated blood circulating to more areas of our body, which facilitates cellular metabolism, elimination of waste products, regeneration and repair of what needs to be regenerated and repaired. This is something we can do for ourselves all the time. And I really do think that we need to, for the sake of everyone else, not just ourselves, starting with ourselves. So we can do this. We just did it. So I just please encourage you to keep practicing, because, you don't even have to dedicate the merit. The merit gets dedicated by practice. Practice is a dedication of merit. You want to help the world, you want to initiate some kind of positive change, practice on yourself. So I implore you. Thank you. Thanks for being here. And next week I'll be out of town, so we won't have class, but I will be here in 2 weeks, and we'll continue on. We have another 2 movements you haven't seen yet, and then we'll have the full 9 form, and then we can just practice that. And this is something that you could practice your whole life and never master. So, thank you so much. Yeah. Thanks for being here, everyone. We'll see you in 2 weeks.